In the latest batch of government coercion for what you do with your own body, COVID-19, get the jab or get another job, Sajid Javid warns care workers. The Health Secretary has said he will not extend the deadline for staff working in care homes to be double vaccinated, as unions and homes warn that it will cause a crisis in staffing levels. Because if there is one thing that you definitely do not need in the midst of a pandemic, is less healthcare staff. That's one thing that you definitely do not need. Staff, staff in care homes who don't receive both vaccine jabs ahead of a looming deadline should get out and get another job, Health Secretary Sajid Javid has warned. His warning comes ahead of the 11th November legal deadline for care home workers to have had both COVID-19 jabs. It's no longer both. It's you need you need boosters and all that now. But some unions in care homes are warning that it could lead to a shortage of staff. Mr. Javid told BBC Radio 4's Today programme, if you work in a care home or you are working with some of the most vulnerable people in our country, and if you cannot be bothered to go and get vaccinated, then get out and go and get another job. Nadra Ahmed, chair of the National Care Association, warned that the deadline needed to be extended for practical reasons rather than out of generosity to workers who are vaccine hesitant. Now, one thing that I am noticing is, see this coercion from the government. Basically, we will completely take away any ability that you have to live a normal life like you had before unless you do what we tell you. That is actually putting so many people off, because a lot of people are quite stubborn and they're just sort of going, you know what, well, fuck you then. Fuck you. Like, I will stand my ground. I am not going to blink. Fine, we will go form our own wee separate society. And that's something that's happening en masse. So see, this thing that the government's doing, it's not working. It's having the opposite effect, in fact. And vaccine numbers, despite the fact that of how tumultuous this pandemic has been, vaccine numbers are a lot lower than was projected. A lot of people are hesitant. I think people are okay to be hesitant. I think it's fine. I think it's fine. I'm hesitant. I've not been vaccinated yet. Um, purely because I don't trust these people. I don't trust them. I do not trust them at all. If they want me to get vaccinated, then they can earn my trust. As of yet, they have not done that. We are not anti-vaccine, she said, explaining that the sector needed a bit more time to get people where they needed to be, or it faced a catastrophic shortage of staff, which would force care homes to close, which would obviously throw a bunch of old people in rooms together and stuff like that, and that's something you definitely do not want during a pandemic. Mr. Javid says that he would not consider extending the deadline and stressed that it was imposed for the safety and benefit of care home residents. If you want to look after them, if you want to cook for them, if you want to feed them, if you want to put them to bed, then you should get vaccinated. If you are not going to get vaccinated, then why are you working in care? He asked. Well, this was because people thought it was a good opportunity, a good career opportunity, and they wanted to pay their bills, and they've probably been in the job before there was a pandemic. That'll be why they were working in care. They wanted to help people, they wanted to take care of people, and also they had bills to pay. That's why they're working in care, Sajid. NHS England data reports that more than 92% of staff working at care homes for the elderly have had at least a single vaccine dose, while more than 84% of workers have had two. And a lot of people probably have said, I don't want the vaccine, but I am in my career, I possibly would be putting people at risk, and I don't want that on my conscience, and they went and got the vaccine. And that's fine. It's just, if people make the decision freely of their own free will, then I have absolutely no issue with it. And like, I keep getting people in my mentions, oh, you anti-vax, Dankula. No, if I was anti-vax, I would be telling people not to get any vaccines whatsoever. I would be actively telling people not to get this vaccine. And I would be doing the whole usual, it turns you into Magneto and Bill Gates and the 5G and microchips in your brain. Like, nah, none of that. All that stuff's garbage. It's fucking hilarious, but it is also garbage. Everyone knows my stance, which I've said very many times. If you believe that the vaccine is the best thing for you, then you should get vaccinated. If you feel that the vaccine is not the best thing for you, then don't get vaccinated. That's your business. That's your decision. I'm not here to influence it. I'm a fucking YouTuber, mate, right? I'm not your guidance counsellor, right? You're a big boy. You're all big boys and you're all big girls. You make your own decision. I'm not here to make your decision for you. Take charge of your own life. Don't copy me, right? Don't go about Dankula's doing it, so like, no. No, don't pull that. Don't pull that e-celeb worship bullshit. Right? Do your big boys, your big girls. You make up your own mind. The National Care Association estimates that 40,000 people could be forced to quit their jobs because of the deadline, and that almost 80,000 are still in the danger zone as they have only received a single dose. Miss Ahmed said this is not just an emerging crisis with the scale of the existing vaccines, it's a crisis that is already here. Care homes are already closing, and that's something that did actually happen a lot. It seems completely perverse that care home workers who are unvaccinated will not be able to work on will be able to work on November the 10th, but not on November the 11th. She added. The Health Secretary says that other people will come forward to replace those who leave the care sector as a result of this deadline, but there's obviously going to be a huge gap of care homes absolutely going to shit until they can get people in and get them trained. But Miss Ahmed warned that the fact of the matter is that there is no workforce out there to replace these thousands that are leaving. That's true. Not a lot of people like me. I know people that work in care. It is a fucking hard job. It is a very hard job, and those people do not get paid enough. Oh god, they absolutely do not get paid enough, and like no one is going to be like queuing out the door to take that job. Mr. Javid said, if you think about elderly relatives you might have in care homes and the idea that someone wants to look after them and they don't want to take a perfectly safe and effective vaccine because somehow they have got some objection to this vaccine, then really honestly they shouldn't be in our care homes. Okay then. That's fine. And that's the thing is, even if people have dumb reasons for not taking the vaccine, it's still their decision, right? People have went out and went, okay, I'll work with old people, I will get the vaccine, even though personally I don't feel that I need it, and that's fine. If you make the decision of your own free will, that's absolutely fine. But I'm seeing a split society starting to form where there is going to be the vaccinated people who are allowed to, well, mostly because things haven't fully opened back up. They will be able to have somewhat of their old life back, and then there's going to be the unvaccinated plague rats, as people have been calling us, because apparently we don't test ourselves every day and wear masks and social distance. We just run around everywhere licking door handles and coughing into incubators at the hospital. That's apparently what we do. We don't take the same precautions as everybody else. We're the ones that are, the filthy untermensch that need to be locked up in camps and shit like that, which I have seen some people like unironically saying. It's weird. Like at first, it was like people that were like racist. That there's a lot of these people out there that just have this inner hatred in them that they just need to unleash on something, but they don't want to look like a bad person for it. I mean, they've got an image to uphold, so they're like, oh wait, no, this is totally socially acceptable to do it to these people, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to act like a completely hateful bastard, but in a socially acceptable way, so that I don't look bad and my ego can remain intact. And that's what's happening with the vaccines. And that's the vaccinated versus unvaccinated. And again, anti-vax. The Count Dankula's anti-vax. No, I'm just got my suspicions about one single vaccine. I've had all my other vaccines. I took my daughter to go get her vaccines, which was rough. Taking your kids to get their jags, it's rough. But she got through it. She's a brave wee girl. So I've had all my vaccines. Took my daughter to get all her vaccines. I'm just not keen on one. Just the same as me not liking Brussels sprouts doesn't make me anti-food, right? I'm not telling people not to get vaccinated. I'm telling people to make up their own fucking minds. I don't care what you do. I mean, I do care. I do care. Don't worry. Love you.